Good morning.
Good morning, everybody.
We are going to be talking about energy fields this morning.
You mean the one that's got your hair standing up like you put your finger in a light socket?
You jerk. Oh, actually the electromagnetic fields that we are getting right now.
Yeah. Well, and again, friends, this is going to be relatable to the ex-Jehovah's Witness community and things right now that are throwing too much hate at us in this community. And we're going to debunk that also.
Yeah, because we all are familiar with laws of attraction.
And the laws of repulsion. If there wasn't such a law, then you ask yourself, how is it that you can take a north pole and a south pole on a magnetic and they're going to, well, actually put two norths together and they're going to repel. That energy is there. But how you use that energy defines who you are as a human being. And we're going to explore that.
Yeah, because, I mean, this is something we've been wanting to talk about for a while. And for those of you that are new to this channel and may be into some of the woo-woo stuff, our family all went for QHHT therapy sessions, about 2 years ago.
Well, can I just add something in right here?
What?
Well, after we did that video exposing the illegal activities of 1XJW, a lot of the new ones left. Sorry, but you're going to miss out on some valuable information.
That's okay. That's okay, because we're not here to be people pleasers.
That's right. And we never have been.
Yeah. Now, I want to explain about the Schumann resonance. Now, I will admit, I knew nothing about the Schumann resonance until about 3 or 4 years ago. And I started doing research on that. And it's interesting because this is the energy that is hitting the earth. And because we are electric beings, kind of like antennas, this can affect us.
Right.
And how we use this energy depends on our path in life.
Right. And it's really easy to contextualize this if you look at electricity. You can walk into your house and flip a switch and that electricity will give you a lightened up room. Or you can flip a switch and that same electricity will put someone to death in an electric chair. So how you use this energy defines, once again, who you are.
Yeah. Now, there are two places on this planet that have graphs that are live 24/7. There's one in Italy and one in Russia, and it's called the Schumann resonance. And I will put the link down below so that you can look at this because it is amazing. When I started doing research on this, and then my experience, which I'm going to share, I've only shared it with a few close friends, and it gets into the weird stuff.
Well, a lot of people like calling it woo-woo stuff, but actually there is a driving force behind it. But if you're not willing to explore or learn, well, then that becomes your issue, not ours.
Yeah. So I'm going to share something that it kind of blew my mind after our QHHT family sessions, and you do this individually, we didn't all go in together. And the therapist records these. Now, there's different levels of these therapists, and we went that was a level 3. And it's interesting because she couldn't put him under at all.
No. I was in too much control of my own energy.
Yeah. So he was fully conscious, fully awake. A few things came out in his session. But when I heard mine, because this is the weird part, I physically fell asleep during my session. I just conked out.
Now, at that same time, I was in the waiting room reading a book.
Yeah. So I conked out. Now, when I woke up, I was like, oh my God, I am so sorry. I guess I was more tired than I thought I was. I didn't mean to fall asleep on you. And she says, how long do you think you were asleep? And I said, oh, 20, 30 minutes, just a short nap. And she says, you've been talking to me for 2.5 hours. Now remember, he's in the waiting room.
I'm in the waiting room.
Wondering what in the world is going on. Because the other family members, their sessions only lasted about an hour, hour and a half.
Yeah.
Mine went 2.5 hours. She didn't want to shut me up because she said it was such interesting stuff. So after your session, when you wake up, you talk to the therapist about your session, and she says, do you remember anything? And I says, no, I don't. I says, I don't even remember dreaming. I says, I was out. And she says, well, let me tell you what happened at one point. And she says, I marked it to where we know the time. At one point, she says, you started shaking, and she says, it got so severe, I thought you were having a seizure, and I was about ready to call 911. And you can hear this in the recording of my session. And she asked me, are you cold? And I said, no. And she said, what is happening? And I said, in my session, I'm getting hit with an energy blast. And she said, where is it coming from? And I said, just a minute, let me look around. And I say, it's coming from space. And she says, do you know what it is? What it's for? And I says, I don't know. I think this is for all of us. It's some kind of energy blast. And she told me, she said, you scared the hell out of me. She says, she says, if you hadn't said anything, I would have called 911. But because you were still able to talk. And she says, I was shaking. My whole body was shaking.
Now, the interesting thing is, because her session went so long, we had to reschedule mine. So we had to come back, like a week later.
Yeah.
Because hers went so long.
Yeah. Now, what is interesting is the next day when she sent me the recording of my session, she sent me a screenshot of the Schumann resonance. And that's when I started learning about this energy.
The energy.
And look at the screen here. This is what she sent me. You see the bright white and red line that goes all the way down. That is what hit me, and that is what was happening at the same time that I was having like this seizure in my session.
The timing was a little more than coincidental, just simply because I don't get headaches. I just don't get headaches. No matter how tired I get, I don't get headaches, and Kim will attest to that. But in that waiting room, at that same time, I was getting a headache. And I thought it's because I was reading too much. And I looked outside, and there's a tower, a transmitting tower with all these... Cell tower. And I said, oh, maybe I'm sitting too close to this, and that's why I got a headache. And even on the way home, I even mentioned to Kim, I don't know what, but I got a headache there that lasted for X amount of time. And we were shocked when we come home, and then the next day she sent us this chart of the Schumann resonance and how coincidental that my headache and her convulsions were in exact timing of when this planet was getting bombarded by this energy.
Gets better. So I talked to my daughter, who calls me every morning on her way to work. And she says, I don't know what was going on about 2:30 yesterday afternoon, but she said I was on my way home from work, and she says I got so dizzy, and she said I just got the weirdest headache. She said it wasn't really hurting, it was more like my head was buzzing. And so I told her about, what we had found out, and she says, oh, that is really weird. And the reason I bring this up is because in my research, I have learned that with all this energy coming in to the earth, now I want to show what a normal Schumann resonance graph looks like. This is normal. The earth usually vibrates, I believe it's 7.83 hertz, and that is normal. And you can see the greens and blues are normal. There's a few little spikes here and there. That is normal. And this energy is available to all of us.
Right.
Good, bad, it's available to all of us. And here in a minute, we're going to talk about what we can do with that energy. But I want to show you what this graph has been doing. Look at this. This solid white is all energy. That is how much is being blasting the earth with.
Coming from the Son of God.
Yeah. So this energy, massive amounts. And I've talked to other people. You can go on, social media, TikTok, YouTube, and put in, like enlightenment, energy, and stuff like that. And you will hear so many people talking about, many call it ascension sickness.
Right.
Some said they are right down in bed with like flu-like symptoms and they just can't handle this energy. A lot of people have chest pains.
Yeah, they can't handle it.
Dizzy, headache. And when the energy is high like this, I wear a quartz crystal because it helps you integrate this energy to where it doesn't affect you as bad.
See, and a lot of people don't know how to balance it. Some of us know how to balance it, and some people have to do other things to help them balance it. That's why you see us in Ex Jehovah's Witness video. There's a stark contrast between the energy that I project and what she projects.
Yeah, and that's the thing we want to talk about today. What do we do with this energy? Mike and I always try to use this energy as something good, and we've always wanted to help people. And, we don't ask for money because it's not about money. And we have always tried our best to use this for good. And like I mentioned, laws of attraction. But there's a battle for higher consciousness going on right now.
See, and this is why I have said multiple times, you need to learn to resonate up here, because we're all subject to receiving that energy. We're like a capacitor, and what you do with that energy will actually define you as a human being. It actually does. And especially those that are in religious cults and those that have escaped religion cults and not done any further studying to resonate up here.
Yeah, exactly. But like I showed you, that graph of this energy coming in right now, this is a time when we need to reflect and decide, how do we want to project that energy? What kind of person do we want to be? Do we want to be a person that is loving and kindness and want to help others? Or do we want to attack others on social media, be hateful, and bash others?
Which is actually holding two opposing opinions.
Yeah.
Your mind is still operating as a Jehovah's Witness because you're holding two opposing opinions.
Yeah. And so, it's your choice. It's up to you what you do with your energy that is coming in. But be careful how you utilize this energy because of the laws of attraction. I've said many times, what goes around comes around. What you put out into the universe. Well, this is true because we're just antennas. So if you're pulling in hate and negativity and stuff like that, that is what is going to be in your life. And it's been very difficult since we've done that video about Mark O'Donnell and his criminal activities, because so many justify his criminal activities as a means to an end.
So let me illustrate it like this, okay, so that you can actually hopefully visualize the difference between the two energy fields. If Kim and I would have come across some information and expose the Watchtower Society of illegal wiretapping. Good job, Mike and Kim.
Oh, that video went viral.
That video would have gone viral, okay? But because we exposed it from Mark O'Donnell, we got the hate. You're not using this energy like you should be. You've got to do better, okay? That's how it works, and we've got more. We've got more, but if you want this community to actually thrive, then you've got to get rid of the two opposing opinions that were inside your heads as a Jehovah's Witness. One huge opposing opinion is this: the generation in 1914 will still be here when this system ends. Jesus promises that. That generation's gone, but yet now, here's the opposing opinion in Jehovah's Witnesses clap. It's an overlapping generation. You cannot hold two opposing opinions and think that you can function in a society of today when these energies are blasting this planet. You've got to do better.
And let's face it, along those lines, you cannot take negative energy, illegal activities, lying, criminal things, and use it for good. It's just physically impossible in this quantum universe.
That's the same thing with putting the two ends of the magnet together.
Yeah.
And we're going to explore this even further, so we hope that you stay with it.
Yeah. And the thing is like I said, it's been a rough, time because there's been so much negativity thrown our way because we did that. And it's like, we're not going to hide it like
No.
Watchtower is. That would make us hypocrites. Why should we hide something, criminal activity, and then expose Watchtower and their criminal activity?
Well,
it's just too opposing. Like Mike says, that's the two north ends of a magnet.
well, let me illustrate it like this, okay? When we did that video, we got a few comments that said, but they do such good work. They do such good work. Why would you expose this when they do such good work? Do you know how Watchtower cliche that comment is? Well, let me show you a reverse angle of that cliche. Brother O'Donnell, why would you expose Watchtower when they've done so much good? For instance, how many of you have quit smoking since becoming a Jehovah's Witness? Did they not perhaps lengthen your life expectancy by not coming down with, lung cancer from smoking or any other disease smoking causes? How many of you's marriages were saved at that critical moment and a Jehovah's Witness knocks at the door? Would you like a free home Bible study? Why, sure. And then you saved your marriage. What about being a drug abuser? How many of you have now got a longer life because Watchtower got you to quit taking drugs?
Well, I can think of a story that your pioneer partner told at a circuit assembly there in Cottonwood.
Tell them.
Well, he gets up on the platform and he starts telling this story about how a single mom, 6 kids?
A few kids, yeah.
I think it was with 6 kids. And she was down and depressed and having a rotten time. And she had a gun and she was about ready to kill all her kids and then herself. And I mean, you can just see all the JW's faces. And I mean, we didn't know this story was coming, even though it was his pioneer partner.
Yeah, I didn't see it
And
coming.
so he goes through this whole thing, and all of a sudden, when she's loading the gun, here comes a knock at the door, and it's Jehovah's Witnesses. And she accepted a Bible study and saved the entire family. And I don't think there was a dry eye in the place. And
There wasn't.
everybody the applause was just off the charts.
Yeah.
Because at the end of it, Jim says, that family was mine. It was his mom that was about ready to kill all of them.
So the point being, McDonald, Lloyd Evans, why are you attacking Watchtower when they've done so much good? Do you see how cliche that comment really is, especially when it rings in the ears of people like Kim and I that resonate up here. We can see the fallacy in such comments. Those comments do not resonate with people that think up here. We can see the fallacy in those comments. So what you do is, what you're really doing is that you're overlooking the good that Watchtower has done because of their criminal activity, and now what you're doing is you're overlooking O'Donnell's criminal activity because he's done so much good. You're holding two opposing opinions, and you will short circuit.
Yeah.
See, this is so easy for people like Kim and I to walk through this and see where the fallacies are. Just like one of the commenters said something like, "Oh, Mike and Kim are Watchtower agents." Okay.
Many said,
Yeah.
"Oh, Mike and Kim are Watchtower agents."
But you don't understand how ignorant that comment really makes you look, because you haven't gone back on this channel for 8, 9, 10, 11 years and seen the work that Kim and I have put in here to expose the Watchtower and Babel Crap Society.
Well, the thing is when you throw this kind of hate and negativity towards us, it makes us feel like, why should we even bother now?
But there again, it's a prime example of the energy hitting the earth and what you're going to do with that energy. You can flip a switch and fry somebody in an electric chair, or you can flip a switch and enlighten a room.
Yeah, exactly.
See, and this is what it's all boiling down to, is that what are you going to do with this energy? And what are you going to do to protect bad behavior? Especially when it's so prevalent right now in this ex-Jehovah's Witness community.
Yeah. And the thing is what's interesting is the day after we put that video up, I had someone contact me and say that O'Donnell's legal team asked them to take down their story. So I wrote back and I said, who are you with? What website? What story? Basically, what's going on? They never replied.
Crickets.
So I don't know if this was O'Donnell's legal team trying to get us to take down the video, or somebody else who had done the story. I don't know, because they never replied. So, this is the kind of crap that I have been dealing with, and I'm tired of the negativity. I'm tired of it. I cannot handle all this negativity. And even some praised him and said, oh, but look, those stolen documents that he had, it went and the court was able to go after the pedophile. Fallacy. First thing he did was run to the press, to the media, and brag about having those stolen documents. Okay? Well, I've got a statement here from a non-profit organization in the XJW community about that. And several lawyers have told me, even retired lawyers, that stolen documents cannot be used in a court of law. And one of them even tried to get the FBI to investigate that congregation because of those documents, and as soon as the FBI found out they were stolen, wanted nothing to do with it.
So
what good does that do?
What good did that do?
Yeah.
Other than just raise his own ego up here.
Yeah. Now this public statement, and I forgot to grab my glasses, this is from the board of directors of SCARS, the Stop Child Abuse Advocates for Reform and Safety. Now, Barbara Anderson was on the board of this organization. So she was part of this. Okay? Concerning, and this was public, concerning recent reports of the use of stolen database documents to expose hidden allegations of CSA, the following is our declaration. So they did a public statement. SCARS, Support the goal of changing laws and changing culture, respecting CSA through an orderly and lawful process involving education and engagement with legal authorities and law enforcement agencies. And that's what we've always tried to do behind the scenes too, is do everything legally. You know, someone leaked documents to me that was about an elder who was a pervo. I didn't run to the press and release these documents or start bragging about it on our channel. No, I sent it to the proper authorities, quietly. Okay, number 2, SCARS disapproves of committing criminal acts to achieve publicity, notoriety, or to monetize activism. SCARS advocates that criminal acts should be subject to search warrants, arrest, grand jury investigations, and actions by attorney generals or U.S. attorneys.
And when you are invited to give a statement to the grand jury, you're supposed to keep that quiet, because then you screw up the investigating process.
Yeah. SCARS believes that civil acts of abuse should be subject to investigation in a discovery process leading to legal means to force documents and secrets into the open. See, by legal means. SCARS backs credible reports of criminal conduct or behavior that provide a probable cause for legal action, either criminal or civil, which should be free of exceptions to mandated reporting or the imposition of statute of limitations as to time. SCARS trusts child victim statements and supports directing minors to authorities, starting with parents, teachers, or other first points of adult contact, and passing these reports on to professional or law enforcement sources for immediate evaluation. SCARS promotes lawful process and resolution leading to recovery, redress, and ultimate justice. Champions the seeking of justice with equitable compensation for victims along with dignity for all in the legal process.
Okay. I think you got a little bit more, don't you?
No, it's just a link to their website at the bottom.
But see, here's the thing. When you claim he does so much good, you overshadow the illegal activity that can't be used in a court of law where the real good is being accomplished.
And I want to thank her because she knew what was happening to us, and she sent me, an email. Thank you, sweetie. It made my day. It made me feel better. She said, these ex-JWs had better open their eyes and wise up. Wiretapping could get O'Donnell up to 5 years in prison plus his massive fine. And she sent me a link to the legalities in this country about wiretapping. If the Watchtower had done the same thing, the same ex-JW folks defending Mark would be all over the internet describing how illegal the Watchtower acts. Some of these ex-JW people are just as bad, if not worse, than the JWs in the Watchtower.
And that's what Kim and I have been observing for a long, long time. And we're going to exemplify this even further. See, when you come out of Watchtower, a lot of you take on these little fancy names such as John Cedars or John Redwood. That gives you a license to be as evil now as you were as a Jehovah's Witness.
And anonymous.
And you think for that moment in time that there's no recompense for your hateful and barbaric speech. But guess what happens? In time, their real identities get found out, and then the things that they said, thinking that there's going to be no repercussions, gets read publicly like this.
Yeah. This was sent to us, and they said, O'Donnell attacked me too on JW Survey. For those of you who are new, JW Survey used to be the website run by Lloyd Evans back when he was anonymous and John Cedars. And now it's JW Watch. But back then it was JW Survey. It says, hi you guys, love the interview by the way. One time I commented on JW Survey that Mark wrote to, T-O, instead of to, T-O-O. And then some professionals might look down on mistakes like that. I said he should probably fix it and he will be taken more seriously. I was as gracious as possible with my comment. I've had 2 college-level composition classes, with one ending with the professor giving everyone a copy of my paper and saying, "This is what I was trying to teach you all." However, Mark came back at me with such vitriol, calling me stupid because I admitted it slowed down my reading by a millisecond. Not anymore, everyone does this stupid mistake. He reframed the mistake as a typo and pretty much labeled me as a witchy, nitpicky bitch that needed to keep her mouth shut. No one came to my defense.
Yeah,
I've seen
we know
little,
that.
I've seen very little come to our defense the past, week and a half. I can't find the comment anymore on JW Survey, and of course was too afraid at the time to screen capture it, as I shared devices with a PME, physically and mentally in. So just like his elder Lloyd, he erases proof of his nastiness. My therapist called him unsafe. That is pretty bad from a therapist. Mark has a truckload of JW personality. Feel free to share my experience. I don't want to because people still are gung-ho for this creep, as seen by recent comments, even after Kim S. and others told the truth about him. So thank you. And I'll save the person, what they said. Here's another one. I have so many of these complaints. But he's done such good.
Does such good work. But see, this is something that a very wise man told us when we first started doing videos on YouTube. Do whatever it takes to protect yourselves. And we've been screen capturing this nonsense from ex-Jehovah's Witness haters for 12 years. We got it all, friends.
We've got a lot of good, too.
We got a lot of good.
Yeah.
But believe me, when the time is right, this crap is going to come out. Because this community wants Watchtower gone so bad, you forget one simple little fact. You're not going to bring them down. Your video is not going to bring them down. Illegal activity is not going to bring them down.
You know what's going to bring them down?
What?
Governments.
Governments.
Yeah. We go to the governments. Look at what's happening in Finland, is it right now? They're threatening to deregister them. Guess what? If these governments start, taking their federal grants and money away from them and taxing them, then they will go down.
Well, that's why they got beards.
Yeah. So I redacted the name on this for their protection. Mark O'Donnell is a yellow-belly, narcissist pig of a man who is worse than Lloyd by a long way. He is misogynistic and self-serving. He is privately supporting both camps, and if Lloyd survives, he will still be in Lloyd's pocket. If not, then he will just work his way in to fill Lloyd's boots. Mark is 100% about being the man. We had mentioned in that video we did about him, a video we had done about some documents that had leaked to us. And yes, it was very similar to congregation business meeting documents, but this one was a little bit different because they were asking the congregation to vote on whether they wanted to sell their water rights.
Right.
And that's what made this one different.
And this one was captured by us when he was still using the name John Redwood. See?
Well, he still does.
Yeah, well,
on Reddit.
With a fake name, you can say whatever crap you want to say, and you think that you're going to get away with it.
Yeah. So this is what he said, and like you see, I got the screenshot here. Now, I had shared these documents with Atlantis, and him and Petra put it on, social media, especially JehovahWitness.com, and they shared it with everybody because that's what we would do. Him and I would share documents, and then we'd share it with the community. Okay? This is what Redwood said. The docs from Mike and Kim aren't anything special. You can get a hold of Congregation Corporation docs in just about every state. The issue is that Mike and Kim are very simple people who don't understand how congregations conduct business. Oh, really?
But you don't understand how illegal wiretapping is. You don't understand what it means to be in possession of stolen documents. You don't understand.
So back to his comment, and clearly this is the first time they have seen such documents. No, it wasn't.
No.
And that's why they are responding as if it's some kind of breaking news. The reason the docs were sent to them and others is simply because there are more people out there leaking whatever they can find to activists, bloggers, etc. And for many people, this seems like new information.
You mean leaking a telephone number to a private conversation between Kingdom Hall lawyers and you having this illegally? It got leaked to you. Same thing, O'Donnell.
Yeah, and this is where he posted kind of the same thing, but on a different forum by John Redwood. Hey folks, these letters don't represent anything new. JW congregations have been meeting once per year for their annual meetings, normally held in the fall. We all know that. And usually for title-holding congregations. The language of the documents hasn't changed much. I have local congregation corporation documents going back over 15 years with nearly identical language. Do all of them sell their water rights? That's what our video was about.
That's right.
Okay, this was the doozy. And he even underlined it for emphasis. So far as I'm seeing, this is just based on a crazy Mike Kim video where they read a few local congregation letters and they are translating that into some kind of breaking news. It's not.
Do you see how he resonates at ground level? He's getting the same energy that all of us get. But what he chooses to do with it is to destroy instead of doing something constructive with it. But hey, you guys love him. That's your opinion. We don't share it.
Yeah. Now, after that, Atlantis and Petra, were just horrified that he, was attacking all of us because of these documents. And like I said, Atlantis was kind enough to share these documents on JehovahWitness.com. This is what he posted about them. If our documents are considered useless and a scandal/sensation, as the remarks show, then the board would be better off without us.
Right.
Let me serve you the last cup of coffee and wish you all a happy Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year. We did the best we could and we love you all, but it is time for our underground group to say goodbye. Petra.
Goodbye. See? There's so much going on behind the scenes that you friends need to uninsert your heads out of some people's backside so you can get a real grip to what's going on here. And the real grip is this. You are not going to bring down Watchtower. Kim and I have said this for so many years. If you take the time to go back and watch our videos, then you would avoid making stupid comments like they're Watchtower agents. I said years ago, they are a business. They are a 501c3 business. And when business is not going their way because the governments are breathing down their necks, they will make the needed changes to comply with the 501c3. They're not going away. They're going to change who and what they are. And I said it before and I'll say it again. They're going to become more like mainstream Christianity. And their ideologies are going to change. They don't have a choice. Why? Because the generation is dead and gone. So they will re-identify who they are to become more mainstream and more palatable to your friends, your family that's still stuck inside.
Yeah. And, along those lines, in going through some of my files, I have so much from the past 12 years. A lot of the information I have that is negative, I won't put out there publicly because it would do so much damage to this community. I mean, to find out some of the illegal things that your well-known, prominent activists have done. And unfortunately, they turn around and attack us, and, we've tried to get some of it out there, but they threaten us with lawsuits and everything else. And like I mentioned before, you just get to the point, it's like, why should I even bother? I'm tired of being this community's punching bag. I'm tired of helping people to be stabbed in the back. Most of the people I have spent so much time helping over the past 12 years have turned around and stabbed us in the back now. So, I get to the point, it's like, why should I even bother?
Well, you're just reflecting the hypocrisy that surrounds holding two opposing opinions in your brain. Just like the Bible says, in the time of the end, but let's just requalify that, at the changing of an age, good will become bad, and bad will become good. But he does such good work!
Mike and Kim are just conspiracy theory, tinfoil hat wearing nutters.
Do you see what these energies are doing at the changing of an age? We do. We see it very, very plainly. And in a lot of ways, the negative energy that this community is throwing out right now is driving us away. You've got to do better. If you can't be a polite commenter, then don't comment or learn to do better.
And everyone is entitled to their opinion. But it doesn't mean I have to,
that's right,
allow it on our social media. This is our channel, my social media, my TikTok, my, Twitter or X.
And it doesn't mean your opinions are right.
Yeah. I do not want any negative energy affecting me anymore. I'm done. Like I said, I'm done being the punching bag. And, it's just sad that I've helped so many only to be stabbed in the back. Well,
it's just like the Bible says. They love to have their ears tickled. If it was Watchtower getting exposed for illegal wiretapping, you'd all be praising Mike and Kim to high heaven. But because it's Mark O'Donnell, now you want to shove us to hell. That's your problem. That's what you're doing with this energy that is directing at this earth. But you don't have anybody to teach you to deal with this the way you should be dealing with it.
Yeah. So, our videos may start taking another direction, like this one, as far as the energy and Schumann resonance. But, we've always wanted to be here to help people, and so many are waking up. A lot are going through a rough time and they don't realize why. Well, when you are putting negative energy out,
right,
then laws of attraction, some call it Murphy's Law, then it will come back in your life. And like we have found out, you cannot thrive on negativity and hate for long, because it will affect your life, it will affect your health, and we all need to do better. We all need to do better. Got anything else to add?
Well, I was just going to say, this is one of the reasons why I am extremely reluctant to do the video on the biblical number 40, because this community is not by any way, shape, or form ready for it. And I will explain to you why I believe that. Because I've explained this to a handful of ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. I'll just use 10, just for the simple convenience. I've explained this to 10 ex-Jehovah's Witnesses. 8 of them went, ah. 2 resonated with it. Now, on the other hand, I've explained this to 10 of my buckskinning buddies, people I rendezvous with, and you know what I got? All 10 of them wanting and thriving for more. That's the difference between people that work with positive energy and people that work within the negative energy fields. You go, oh, because a lot of you are so sick about Bible stuff, but this really isn't. This really isn't a biblical thing, even though it's tied to the Bible. But it's really not. So please, do not email us wanting the answer to this, because when it comes to XJWs, all I got was, oh.
So maybe when we come back from our break, things will change. Never know. And as far as the elders letters videos, I do the first of the month. Yeah, I do have the elders letters, but
Yeah. Go get them from someone else.
yeah.
Just go get them from someone else, because that's where this community would rather be at this moment in time.
Well, there's several on Twitter, aka X, that post them.
Yeah.
And, you know, I don't know if anybody's posting them, Jehovah'sWitness.com or Reddit, but yeah, I'm taking a break. I need a vacation from all of this negativity and recharge my batteries. But I do want to let everybody know, thank you so much for watching our videos and subscribing and liking. We appreciate all of you so much. And I know many of you are awake and resonating up here.
Yes.
And you get it. And so I would like to do more about this energy that we're dealing with right now, because there's also a thing where the Earth's vibration, and yes, the Earth vibrates, it's actually gone up. And if we do not start trying to integrate with this new energy, then we're just going to keep doing worse and worse, get sicker and sicker, and it's not going to be good. So that's why we all need to try to lift, our energy up to what is coming to us now.
Do you guys really want to see the level of this energy and how it wakes people up, people that resonate with it? We'll put a link down below to a video that I watched this very morning from another YouTuber, not ever been an ex-JW, but he's an ex-Christian. He's a Gnostic Christian right now. Listen to his video and understand what's really going on with the God in this Bible. And if you think for 1 minute, that us humans are better than the God of that Bible, and that God in the Bible fears us, as you're listening to what he's saying about Sodom and Gomorrah, think about this. The Tower of Babel. The Bible story says that God came down with his son, presumably Jesus, and confused the language, because there's nothing they have in mind that they can't accomplish.
We did a video about that.
Do you see the fear that human beings can reverse to that evil God in the Bible? Do you see it? Listen to what he says about Sodom and Gomorrah, and then think about the whole incident at the Tower of Babel. God had to confuse our human languages because he actually feared us.
Yeah. Now I do want to leave you with something else from my QHHT session. This plane, what we are now, this dimension, is not the only one. There is more out there. There is more out there. So it was very interesting and a learning experience, and I still get kind of emotional because, like I said, it took me a week or two to deal with my session. And there's a lot more, that I would like to share from it. Because like I said, there's 2.5 hours worth. And it was a lot to deal with, a lot to digest. And I still don't know what to think about all of it. But it was interesting. And so that's all I'm going to share for now. So we love you, and we hope you all have a wonderful day, wonderful weekend, and a wonderful, blessed life.
Bye.
Bye.